Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm Main Street welcome to Disney legend and world-class Imagineer, Tony Baxter. And now, please welcome the president of the Disneyland Resort, Michael Colglazer.
So we're here in front of the magic shop, fittingly, to pay tribute to a man who has brought an enormous amount of magic to the Disney company throughout his career. Today, we honor Disney legend Tony Baxter. Tony, with your very own window on Main Street. It's a very exciting day for all of us. But before we begin, I'd like to welcome you to the Disneyland Resort and thank you for joining us here this morning. Each of you has played a very important part in Tony's life and in Tony's career. We're very honored that you could be with us here this morning. Before we begin, I would also like to recognize several distinguished guests, including some of our past window honorees and Disney legends themselves. And if I could call you out, if you wouldn't mind standing up and just say hello to the group. Tony Anselmo, Catherine Beaumont, Orlando Ferrante, Jack Lindquist, Richard Sherman, Marty Sklar, and Dave Smith. I was expecting you all to start a wave going there. That was outstanding. All right, Tony, so let's get started. It's my deep honor to now welcome the chairman of Walt Disney Parks and Resorts, Mr. Tom Staggs. Tom?
Thank you, Michael. So this is a big deal for us. Obviously, receiving a window on Main Street is really an honor reserved for only those people who have made an indelible mark on Disney Parks and Resorts organization and the parks themselves. But it is a big deal because it's also emblematic of sort of and a reminder of the fact that it really takes people to make the magic at Disney Parks and Resorts. And so each time that we have the chance to honor someone with this, we're also recognizing the amazing contribution that all of our people make every single day to making Disney Parks and Resorts what it is. Now, these windows are sort of a subtle, sometimes tongue-in-cheek, but significant part of how we pay tribute to individuals who've lent their talents and their passion and their creativity to making these parks a place where dreams become reality, and it's therefore really fitting that we honor Tony in this way. You've taken us on some amazing journeys over the years. We've gone to the Old West, we've gone into space, we've even had a special journey into imagination. And so today we're going to celebrate that remarkable legacy. Now, earlier this year, you all, I hope, know that Tony was honored as a Disney legend. So that's the highest honor that the Walt Disney Company bestows on people. And again, hard to think of anyone more deserving of such an honor. Most of you probably know, but for those who don't, Tony's journey started right down there. At the end of this street, that was 1965, and you were a 17-year-old ice cream scooper. And obviously, we've always had a great eye for talent, and Tony could really scoop. Yeah. You still can? We'll test that later, if you want. We'll go right down there. And as he was scooping ice cream, Tony already had that incredible imagination, so he found himself looking around and developed this amazing interest in the attractions. He later became a Tomorrowland attraction host, and his fascination with all that we did grew, and of course that coupled with some great creative instincts led to Imagineering and the tremendous career that followed, and we're all the better for it. So Tony has always known that innovation and visionary courage is a key to success, and I think that has also been a hallmark of his career. So, Tony, you've undoubtedly shaped our park with some of the great iconic attractions, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, but Tony's career really has reached far beyond Anaheim. From Walt Disney World to Tokyo Disneyland to Disneyland Paris, there's a ripple effect to Tony's imagination that we see in the parks around the world. Tony's also extremely well known amongst the Disney fans, and that's part of the reason why earlier this year at D23 we gave Tony a little surprise and made the announcement about this window. And I have to say that the audience, I think, was almost as excited as Tony. They immediately stood up and gave him a standing ovation. And I'm confident that every one of the 2,000 people in the room would have liked to have been here today, but we were only able to invite a couple of members given the size of Main Street. So we chose them at random. And I'm happy to say that Mel Asher and Myron Strawn, who were in our audience, have joined us here today. So thank you. We're glad you could be here to help represent all the fans who have been so entertained, surprised, and delighted by Tony's work. So thank you for being here. So another thing that we should spend a moment on is really Tony's unmatched passion for mentoring and guiding our future Imagineers. I think that Tony has long recognized that it's each successive generation of cast member and Imagineers that really carries on and extends the legacy. So I want to ask the Chief Creative Officer for Imagineering, Bruce Vaughn, to come up and talk a little bit more about that. Bruce?
Thanks, Tom, and thank you all for being here. Anyone who knows Tony knows that he is a consummate people person, and he's also, I think it's fair to say, the Imagineer's Imagineer. Yeah, he represents what we like to refer to as the perfect circle of creativity based on his career at Imagineering, and he's the first one to point out that he is the product of mentorship. He worked with the best and learned from the best. Mark Davis, Claude Coates are just a few that he will credit, and these were the innovators and the original Imagineers. And Tony took that knowledge and introduced the next generation of iconic attractions, many of which are here. In fact, it was just last year that I came here with my nieces, and basically what you do with your nieces is you let them choose what they want to do at Disney Park. And I quickly realized as we were on Star Tours and Indiana Jones and Big Thunder that it was the greatest hits of Tony Baxter, and that saying a lot to put that kind of mark on this wonderful park. As Tom said, he also has been very instrumental in mentoring the next generation of Imagineers, and I think there's quite a few of us. I see Eddie and Tim and many others here who would say that you'll learn a lot with Tony Baxter. He has a lot of knowledge, and it's almost in his DNA to understand what it takes to create a Disney attraction. And that extends, also to one of our most beautiful parks in Paris, which he obviously had a lot to do with. So for that, we also thank you, Tony. Imagineer is nothing without its next generation, and you've had a big impact on that. And I would like to say that even though Tony's moved on to the next chapter in his career, he continues to show up at Imagineering and help us brainstorm and mentor that next generation. And that is something that we treasure and is very special and a wonderful piece of working for the Disney company and Imagineering. But first and foremost, Tony loves Disney, and he also loves the fans. It's fair to say, I think, that second to some of our classic characters, Tony is like a walk-around character when he comes down to Disneyland. The guests sort of flock around him, and we think it's partly because they want to get to meet Tony Baxter, but also I think there was a long period where they were trying to see what he was looking at and figure out what was coming next. And who can blame them? I think at this moment, for me, I just want to say that, Tony, thank you for the many years that we've worked together. I too have learned an awful lot from you. And as Imagineers, we believe that happy people make the world a better place. You have certainly made a lot of people very happy throughout your career. And so for all that you've done, and all that you will continue to do, and for your mentorship, we just want to say thank you.
Thanks, Bruce. So, I'm standing up here looking at all the faces in the audience and reflecting it. Michael introduced a few people earlier. It's amazing the number of really familiar yet legendary faces we have in the crowd today. So thank you all again for being here. But I also look out and see so many cast members and Imagineers, future legends, I think, in that group as well. So thank you all also. Of course, we all want to step back every once in a while and remember that it all started with the mouse. So I think it's about time to bring him out so we can show everybody this window. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mickey Mouse. Okay. All right, Mickey, so should you and I do the honors? Right here. They're right there.
We keep moving forward, opening up new doors, doing new things, because we're curious. And curiosity keeps leading us down new paths. We're always exploring and experimenting. We call it Imagineering, the blending of creative imagination with technical know-how.
So congratulations. I'm not subtle. For those who don't have a perfect, Tony just said I'm not subtle. Was anybody confused about that? So it reads, Main Street Marbles, Tony Baxter, inventor, imagination is in the heart of our creations. And it seems perfect to me that that's what it reads. So, congratulations. Now, I have every expectation that we'll see you here a lot, especially given your meet and greet status. Okay, exactly. But we thought it would be fun for you to have a replica of the window to keep at home. So we'll give you a look at that, and then maybe, Tony, you can say a few words as well.
Okay. A few.
get to you. So this is all there is. Well, I'm not funny, so that's why I thought it would be cool to be funny before I talk. Okay, so now we get deadly serious, but very quick. October 27th, 1954, before you were born, actually. The word Disneyland was given meaning to me, not as a place, but as a TV show, you know, that was on TV. And in those days, everybody had to watch anything that was good, and this was really good. But for the next 10 years, it became a park. And as a visitor and a guest here, it was my playground. It was where I grew up. And my biggest ambition was to become a cast member here at Disneyland. And right down there, there was a man named Mr. Watkins who worked for the Carnation Company, who looked very nicely on this 17-year-old kid and said, "We'll hire you." And 1 month later, the Disney Company bought it out, so I was now a Disney employee, but I was younger than they normally allowed, so that was pretty cool. Then there was another date, December 15th, 1966. And for those of you that know Disney, that was the day that Walt Disney passed away. I had been working here for a year and a half. I'd watched him in the park for all those days, early in the morning, and he'd drive the trucks around and so forth and play here. And he was a big mentor to me. I was planning my whole schooling, and Imagineering was a dream, and now it's over. So I really needed a new mentor, and this is where the whole mentoring started. And I found a great one, Dr. Maxine Merlino at Cal State University Long Beach. And Don Parra, the president, is here today somewhere over here. Thank you for coming. That school means a lot to me. And Maxine, now at 101, still emails me all the time, writes on the computer. And they're amazingly inspiring things at 101, so that's kind of exciting. In 1970, after graduating, I left Disneyland, came to Walt Disney Imagineering, where I met up with Claude Coates, and he became the next great mentor for me. He was a legend already, Disney artist and designer on the TV show every week, and I was going, that's a dream. How would you ever get to be one of those people? We got along amazingly well creatively. We just kind of clicked. He was in his 70s, I was in my early 20s. And it just worked, and I would quickly get to see Imagineering through his eyes. Today, the role of mentoring is kind of belongs to me. And rather than calling out names, every one of you that has, like, I've spent time with lately over the last, I'd like you all to stand up, and I want to give you applause because the next things you see here are going to be a part of this. We're half done. We're half done. So then we go on to leaders and partners. And like Walt and Roy, great partners can see potential in things and then also create the opportunities. And I think that's that drama that those guys started, at least at Disney, and it's throughout a lot of industries. Well, for me, the high point, if you were looking at a trajectory, it was when Michael Eisner and the late Frank Wells landed at the Walt Disney Company. They led Disney to new creative heights in a little over a decade. Our company became the world's leader in everything from film to merchandise to the parks. And they saw faith in me. And with that, I was really able to do things I never dreamed I would be able to do. It just was a phenomenal period. And the next step down was Marty Sklar and Mickey Steinberg, who at Imagineering knew how to really make things happen. And I was lucky enough to be trusted by them that I was one of the people that could do that. And so they gave me those challenges, and the project opportunities came to life under their leadership. And then down at my level, Laurel Hartwell and I were partners for a long, long time. How many years? 25 years. And now that I'm working there without you as my direct partnership, I see a lot of things that you did for me that were hard to see. Okay, peers. Being surrounded with some incredible talent turns all the dreams we think of into reality. And once again, you know, there's so many of you out here. I just know that my big project that I got involved with, Disneyland Paris, I mean, all of you guys that are here, Eddie and Tim, Skip and Nina, Chris, and Tom, and Brian, and even a guy named Drew who helped us with a few things on Indiana Jones. So, you know, you just really can't, there's no way this is done alone. People say to me, well, how do you do that? You can't. It's a whole team of amazing people that makes these things real. There are a lot from my generation that aren't here. 3 people that I think were some of the most creative people I have ever worked with. Randy Bright, Bruce Gordon, and John Stone are no longer with us, but the things that they did, every time think of those guys. Every time you hear the American Adventure, Golden Dream, think of Randy. Amazing, amazing people to get to work with. Now, the windows, that's the last thing. This is Waltz Park, and this is where it all began. And the names up on these windows gave the world a very magical kingdom, but more importantly, they created the yardstick by which everything that's followed Disneyland has been measured. Now for me, I was really, really fortunate to know and work with most of these people. As I go down this, I go, work with him, I knew him, I got to be with him at Disneyland, so it's pretty amazing for me. And to be included with them here at Disneyland is to me the ultimate honor. So thank you all very, very much.
Tony, I think it's obvious, you can see that everyone here assembled is thrilled that you have this honor, and it's just a privilege to be able to give it to you. And it's also, it's a great reminder for all of us at Disney that we have these amazing positions, not in just what we get to do, but the people with whom we get to do these things. And you're a great example of that. So thank you. Thanks to all of you for being here, and I hope you all have a great day here at Disneyland. Thank you very much.